Hello and welcome in my course. I am a French private tutor specializing in one-on-one tutoring. I am a native French speaker and I am trilingual myself. I have been tutoring for about 3 years, as I said, mostly one-on-one private tutoring and mostly virtually on virtual platforms. I will try to make these courses as closely similar as possible to my private tutoring formats, so that will include a lot of interactivity, and I will expect you for that to bring a paper and a pen, and please pay attention, and my advice will be to finish this course in one go, and of course to follow through this plan. Yes, the reading session comes first, then vocabulary, then alphabet, then spelling. The reason for that is because I believe that people learn best from their mistakes. I have been teaching for a long time, relatively long time, and people learn better from their mistakes. You need to make conclusions by yourself. You need to to adopt the sense of the language by yourself during the reading session, and that will give you a foundation to try to guess how you pronounce this or that letter. Only then we will do the alphabet, so that it will look even easier for you, and so that you can help yourself to start thinking the language, to make effort into learning and understanding the language. My favorite way of teaching always includes reading session first. And no matter what I teach, no matter the level of the student, no matter what, I always use text as support, and that's the best way to assess someone's level, because a text can first help you see the comprehension of the student, their pronunciation, and you can extract whatever rules you want from the text and ask them about it. So it's very useful. Even for beginners, we will do our reading session first. And also because most students here have a certain level of English, and English is from the Latin family, and bears a striking similarity to French. So I don't think we need to make things too easy simply because you are beginners. So I will begin with the plan. So as I said, first is a reading session. After you finish the reading session, do the assignment. Don't forget the assignment, it's important. Only move on to the vocabulary part after doing the assignment. Take 40 minutes, I gave you 40 minutes. Do the assignment. Don't ever click on the next part without doing your assignment. Then comes vocabulary. After you finish the lecture, don't forget to do the exercises. Only after that you can move to the alphabet section, but the most critical part here is the assignment. After the reading session. That assignment is really mandatory. You can't move to the other section without doing that assignment. For the vocabulary assignment, yes, it's important to do it, but you can leave it for later. But I still insist that you do it. Then comes the alphabet section. You need to watch the alphabet, is mandatory for you to be able to do the following part, which is the spelling. the spelling. So that's the plan, and you can start after this section. That's it for this part.
Julien aime beaucoup les animaux. Mais le problème, c'est que sa maman, pas du tout. Il lui a déjà demandé s'il pouvait avoir un chien. On n'a pas de jardin, a répondu sa maman. Il a donc cherché un animal qui pouvait vivre en intérieur et il a proposé un chat. Non, il mettrait des poils partout. Il s'est alors creusé la tête pour trouver une bête qui plairait à sa mère. Et un lapin? Il rongera tout dès que tu le sortiras de sa cage. Il ne restait plus beaucoup de possibilités. Un poisson peut-être. Il faudrait nettoyer l'aquarium très souvent. Julien a bien tenté de dire que ce serait lui qui s'occuperait entièrement de son animal. Mais sa maman ne l'a pas cru.
Julien, not Julien. Julien. English speakers make this mistake very often. It's not Julien. It's Julien. Je. Not de. Not je. Je. Julien. M. M. There is nothing above the E at the end of the word. Nothing above it. No accent. So it's a silent E. If there is no accent, it's a silent E. Beaucoup. Beaucoup. Les animaux. Les. Alone, the first word alone is les. And the one next to it alone is animaux. But when they follow each other, it becomes les animaux. And that's what we call la liaison. When two words follow each other and the second word begins with a vowel, if the first word has a silent end, it then gets pronounced. But it only gets pronounced when the word that follows it is a vowel. Usually, the usual is a silent end, le, with a silent end. But because what follows it is a word starting with a vowel, then it can get pronounced. It becomes les animaux. Mais le problème, you would have issue with the R. R, problème. R can change. The pronunciation of the R can change depending on the word. In this case, it's problème. In another word, for example, arbre, problème, arbre. Like T, it too can be like tu or tu. Tu or tu. We will do that example next. C'est que sa maman, pas du tout. Tout. This is a common mistake. Not tout. Pas du tout. Pas du tout. Pas du tout. English speakers are fond of the t, because many English words like toy, today, tomorrow, have a soft T. But in this case, it's T, to, hard T, to. The commonly used T in English, we can find that in French too, but we can find the commonly used T that English speakers are familiar with in French, but it's not the only one. It's not the only pronunciation of it. For example, tu, it's easy for you as an English speaker to say it, but tu, many have an issue with it. Tu. To make it distinctive, I will use two words where the T has a different pronunciation. Tu, 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 tu. Il lui a déjà demandé s'il pouvait AIT. When the word ends with AIT, it's pouvait. AIT gets pronounced like an E with an accent. A. Avoir un chien. Look, here, chien doesn't begin with a vowel. So it's un chien. Un chien. The end of un doesn't get pronounced. Not like un animal. On n'a pas de jardin, a répondu sa maman. Il a donc cherché. Look, the E has an accent, so it's cherché. It's not a silent E, and that's because it has an accent. If there is no accent, it will become cherche, which is the verb in the present. But in this case, it's in the past, and the E has an accent, which makes it gets pronounced like A, chercher. An animal, look what I said just now. An animal, the word begins with a vowel. So it's un animal. Un, the end of un gets pronounced. Qui pouvait, remember, when that's a case of liaison. Liaison. I will do a quiz about liaison. About la liaison, so that I can see if you understood what I meant. Qui pouvait vivre en intérieur? Et il a proposé un chat. Non, il mettrait des poils partout. Again, hard T. Il s'est alors creusé la tête pour trouver une bête qui plairait à sa mère. Et un lapin? Il rangera tout dès que tu le sortiras de sa cage. Il ne restait plus beaucoup de possibilités. Un poisson peut-être. Il faudrait nettoyer l'aquarium très souvent. Il faudrait nettoyer l'aquarium très souvent. Julien a bien tenté de dire que ce serait lui qui s'occuperait entièrement de son animal, la liaison. Mais sa maman ne l'a pas cru. Julien aime beaucoup les animaux. Julien aime beaucoup les animaux. Mais le problème, c'est que sa maman, pas du tout. Il lui a déjà demandé s'il pouvait avoir un chien. Il lui a déjà demandé s'il pouvait avoir un chien. On n'a pas de jardin. On n'a pas de jardin, a répondu sa maman. A répondu sa maman. On n'a pas de jardin, a répondu sa maman. Il a donc cherché un animal qui pouvait vivre en intérieur, et il a proposé un chat. Il a donc cherché un animal qui pouvait vivre en intérieur et il a proposé un chat. Non, il mettrait des poils partout. Non, il mettrait des poils partout. Il s'est alors creusé la tête. Il s'est alors creusé la tête pour trouver une bête qui plairait à sa mère. Pour trouver une bête qui plairait à sa mère. Il s'est alors creusé la tête pour trouver une bête qui plairait à sa mère. Et un lapin. Et un lapin. Il rongera tout dès que tu le sortiras de sa cage. Il rongera tout dès que tu le sortiras de sa cage. Il ne restait plus beaucoup de possibilités. Il ne restait plus beaucoup de possibilités. Un poisson peut-être. Un poisson peut-être. Il faudrait nettoyer l'aquarium très souvent. Il faudrait nettoyer l'aquarium très souvent. Julien a bien tenté de dire que ce serait lui qui s'occuperait entièrement de son animal. Mais sa maman ne l'a pas cru. Julien, it's a male name, Julien. Aime from the verb aimer, which means loves, from the verb to love. Beaucoup. A lot or very much. Les animaux. Animals. Julien loves animals very much. Mais, but. Le problème. This word is very similar to its English counterpart, which is problem. Le problème, problem. C'est, it's, que, that, sa maman, his mom. Sa, his, maman, mom. It's that his mom. Pas du tout. Not at all. Pas du tout. Not at all. But the problem, it's that his mom, not at all. Il lui a déjà demandé. He has already asked her. S'il pouvait, if he could. Avoir un chien. Avoir, have. Un chien, a dog. He already asked her if he could have a dog. On n'a pas de jardin. we don't have a garden. In this case, the word on means no, but on only means no when it's in an informal speech. Never in formal speech does on replace no, only in informal speech. For example, when you talk in everyday life, but if you want to write down a text or write an email, never use on, unless it's reported speech. You are talking about something somebody said, like in this case. So, on n'a pas de jardin. Jardin is garden. On n'a pas de jardin. A répondu sa maman. Answered his mom. A répondu, past of the verb répondre, which means answer. Il a donc means then, cherché, past of the verb searched, of the verb search. So from the verb chercher, which means to search, and a chercher is the passé composé, the past. For now we will just say it's the past of the verb. He then searched for an animal. Here there is no for. In English you need to put for, but here there is no for. So it's il a donc cherché un animal. Qui, that, pouvait, could, vivre, live, en intérieur, indoors. And il a proposé, he proposed, un chat, a cat. Non, no, il mettrait des poils partout. Mettrait from the verb mettre means put, des poils means hair, literally, and partout means everywhere. But in this case, if we want to translate it in a more correct way, we will just say, no, he will shed everywhere. Il s'est alors creusé la tête. Creuser la tête is a metaphor. Creuser means from the verb creuser, digs, to dig. La tête, his head. So just like we are saying, he tried to dig someone's to dig his head, is just a metaphor. So that just means he thought a lot about it. Pour, to, trouver, find. Une bête, a beast. However, in French, une bête has the same meaning as animal. In English, when you say beast, there is a negative connotation to it. Here in French, there is no negative connotation to it. So it's just another way of saying animal. Qui, that, plairait, would please, his mother. Et un lapin, and a rabbit. Il rongera, from the verb ronger, which means nibble on, to everything. He will nibble on everything the moment that you will get him out of the cage. You will let him out of the cage. Sortir means get out or let him out of the cage, of his cage. Ça, his cage. Il ne restait. Rester from the verb rester. And it means stay. But not in this context. Usually it means stay, but in this context it means something else. Plus, ne plus is just negation. Another form of negation. Beaucoup, a lot, but in this case it means many, de possibilités. Il ne restait plus beaucoup de possibilités. There were not many possibilities left. Okay, so context is important. Don't forget that. But you will get used to that the more you read and the more you talk the language. Un poisson, a fish, peut-être, maybe, a fish, maybe. Il faudrait. Here, il means nobody. Like the equivalent would be, for example, in English, it rains, it snows. We really are talking about nobody. Il faudrait nettoyer, nettoyer, clean, to clean, l'aquarium, the aquarium, très, very, souvent, often. So the proper translation for this would be the aquarium would need to be cleaned very often, because in English there's no way to say to translate il faudrait. But as I said, the closest example to it, or the most similar thing to it in English that we can find is, for example, it rains, it snows. We are talking about nobody, really, referring to nobody. Julien a bien tenté. A tenté, past of the verb tenter, which means try. De dire. Dire from means to say. Que ce serait lui, that it would be him. Qui s'occuperait, that s'occuperait would take care entièrement, entirely, of his animal. Mais, but, sa maman, his mom, ne pas is negation, ne l'a pas cru, didn't believe him. Cru from the verb croire, which means to believe. So his mom didn't believe him. How do we pronounce this letter? Try to pronounce it 5 times. Yes, A. This one. B. C. D. E, E, F, F, G, G, H, H, I, I, J, J, K, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y. The tip I give for this letter is to take the letter E and just add Greg, like the name Gregory in English. It's a popular name too between English speakers. So E plus the name Greg, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Do not forget these letters and please make a lot of effort to remember them because you will need them in the next section.